Good evening, everyone. We all set? My name is Jim Joseph, Dean of the Madden School of Business. Welcome to the 31st Annual Frank Fernandez Alumni Dinner. On April 8th, 2017, the Purcell family lost a loving husband, father, and grandfather. Moyne lost a dear, dear friend. The city of Rochester lost one of its very finest. John Purcell died peacefully at home, surrounded by family. At 73, he left us way too soon. Please join us in a moment of silence. John K. Purcell was the 2013 Frank Fernandez Business of the Year leader. Business Leader of the Year. Now, before we go any further, please take out your program and turn to the inside page. There you will find information about the James F. Society of Jesus Collegiate Scholars Program. We have 3 Smith corporate sponsors in the room with us this evening. Would the following people please stand? Laura Miller from Darko. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. I know it's hard not to applause for Laura, but hold your. Jeff Hill from Oneida Air. And Robert Witter is in the house too. A nice addition, the owner of Oneida Air. Will Wester from Macintosh Box and Pallet. Where are you, Will? Thank you to the 3 of you and your companies for making an incredible impact on these students' lives. With what these 3 companies are doing is truly transformational. And what I'm doing right now to the rest of you is deploying a dose of Catholic guilt. Thank you. Round of applause for those companies. It also should be noted that Sodexo, the provider of this evening's delicious meal, is a Smith Scholar corporate sponsor as well. What a terrific, incredible turnout this evening as we honor one of our most accomplished alumni, Joe Savage, Moyne class of 1984, with the 2017 Frank Fernandez Business Leader of the Year award. By any measure, Joe Savage is a highly accomplished businessman, but more importantly, an extraordinary person. Dedicated not only to his profession, but also to his community, his alma mater, and the people that he loves. Joe demonstrated this when he chose to name the Center for Reflective Leadership after his hero, his father, and the entire Savage family. Joe's family, friends, and colleagues from Victaulic filled 3 tables this evening. Originally, it was 2 tables. But when I told Joe that we were 8 people shy of a record crowd, without hesitation, let's make it 3 Savage tables. Now, those of you who know Joe know that that's not the way he is. I made that up. Joe, please stand and be recognized. On behalf of all of us here tonight, congratulations. Really could not happen to a better guy. Wife Suzanne, all 4 children, Danny, Maggie, husband Aaron, Matthew and Emma, Uncle Jim, Don's brother, and his mom, Jackie. Welcome. After the dedication a year ago of the Savage Center, I received a letter from Jackie. Hi, Jimmy Joe. Many thanks for all your effort in pulling off the big celebration, in quotes. The room is great. Can't wait to see it in the daylight and the view from the daylight, which you saw today this afternoon. Many thanks for the cocktail hour. I had lemon soda, in quotes. Also for the delicious dinner. Calming effect of those 2 Jamesons. You wrote it. Leave it to Joe to cause a riot about that. God bless you and this wonderful project. Fondly, Mother Savage. The rest of the story. She went to see her beloved husband's, the panel dedicated to him, with his class ring embedded in the wall on display. And she said, I need a favor from you. Can you add this? Her class ring. She was a year behind Don. In his first NBA paycheck, he bought her this ring, and we will put it there. It's so great to have you. Now, please direct your attention to Frank Fernandez's legendary Lemoyne green jacket behind me. As most of you know, Frank Fernandez founded Lemoyne's accounting and business program 7 decades ago. Most of us in this room owe an incredible debt of gratitude to Frank. During the year, this green jacket hangs proudly in my office. People always come in and say, did you win the Masters? I said, no, that is Frank's jacket. Every year since we've done this, Rodney, his son, comes up and looks for the holes. He thinks that I've drilled in here so we can get a whiff of the cigar smoke. Sorry, it hasn't been done. It will be forever part of this event, Rodney. And a table will forever be reserved for Frank's most precious legacy, his family. 2 of Frank's 5 children, a granddaughter and a nephew, are with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming daughter Dulce, son Rodney, granddaughter Alexandra Alex, and late entrant nephew Mark. "30 years ago, at this very alumni dinner, the first Frank Fernandez Award was presented to arguably one of Lemoyne College's most successful alumnus. It is a rare moment when this individual receives something. Normally, he does not receive, he gives. And he will never forget where he came from. One of his thoroughbreds is actually named Buffalo Miss. To that end, this month marks the 5th anniversary, I can't believe it, the 5th anniversary of the single largest gift from an alum in Lemoyne's history. And the Madden School of Business was born. Mike, we are incredibly honored to have you and Lynn with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Madden. President Linda Lemura and her cabinet are with us this evening. We will hear from Dr. Lemura at the end of this evening. My 2 favorite deans are with us tonight, Dr. Kate Costello-Sullivan and Dr. Miga Wells. We have 13 former recipients of the Fernandez Award with us tonight. I'm going to ask them to stand. Hold your applause until the end, please. Mike Madden, Dr. James Freilich, Hank Fust, Bill Barrett, Angela Uva Burnett, who is also, where is she? The oldest living and shortest recipient. No, that's not true. Every year, we rehearse this, okay? I'm not that mean. And Hank Fust is older. By 1 month. Yeah, okay. Joe Russo, Grace Gezzi, Carol Fletcher. Carol is not here with us tonight. Tom, send her our love, please. John Marshall. And the last three recipients are here. Kurt Oliger, the last four. Pete and Tara Delora. Where are they? No, they're not the Chiefs. Remember when you won and you guys are sitting right here? Vince Spina. Where's Vince? Okay. Like I said, the last 2 out of 3 winners. 3 out of 4. Now, a round of applause for the The 2005 winner. When I was CEO of Oneida, I used to cheer when that happened. The 2005 winner really wanted to be here this evening. Linda, I'm going to have to say it again. The 2005 winner really wanted to be here this evening. Jack Collins needs our prayers now more than ever. If you haven't spoken to Jack or reached out to him lately, do so. He did an incredible thing again, and I announced it at 2 of the advisory board meetings today. You see, Jack wants the professorship to become a chair, and Jack has given another $1 million for the Jack Collins Accounting Chair. That's how much he loves this place. Reach out to him. I'm now going to give a shout out to all 100 tables here. There are not 100 tables. So hold your applause. The Madden faculty are here, actually 2 tables. Members of the Madden School of Business faculty, we have 2 full tables. I also want to point out that Tracy Cotto, the director of the Global Jesuit Case Series, and Dr. John Monteleone, philosopher and professor of ethics, are seated with the Madden faculty. Why do I draw your attention to this? They are co-authoring the incredible Victaulic case study that epitomizes leadership imbued with Jesuit values. 2 courageous leaders made the decision to tell an insurance company, not enough, not enough. Unprecedented. We honor one of those executives tonight. The other executive is also with us this evening, Victaulic's Boston College-educated CEO, John Malloy. John, where are you? Suffice it to say that the world needs Jesuit-educated leaders now more than ever. I would also like to acknowledge Mark Vandevoorde, Chief Legal Counsel, and Gary Moore, Senior Vice President of Sales for Victaulic. The Bonadeo Group is here, recognized as one of the fastest growing firms in the U.S. and ranks 39th out of the top 100 in the U.S. Darco Manufacturing, a local and global champion for manufacturing in Central New York. One of Laura's guests is mayoral candidate Juanita Perez Williams. Making it in Central New York. Their mission is to create and energize a movement that changes the conversation about manufacturing and making a good life in Central New York. CAD Dimensions, Pete and Tara and their company. Solvay Bank. Solvay Bank has been serving the Central New York community for over 100 years. They were recently voted a top 200 U.S. community bank. Paul Mello, CEO and member of the Federal Reserve for New York State, is with us tonight, as well as his team. Thank you for being here. Danable McKee, firm established in '78 that has experienced consistent and sustained growth, making them one of the largest professional firms in Central New York. Eric Mower and Associates, a top 20 independent marketing and communication agency in the U.S. Start Fast Venture Accelerator, one of the top 50 business accelerators in the world. It's housed in the Keenan Center of the Madden School of Business. Sandra Spencer CPA is the only accounting firm in the world that has 100% Moyne alum. The IS Advisory Board. Thank you for being here, Martha and IS Advisory Board. Bill, keep her in line, will you? C.R. Fletcher, the most prominent recruiting firm in Central New York. Once again, Kurt and Karen Oliger bought a table for 8 Madden students. They do this every year. As a matter of fact, if you look around, there are about 40 to 50 Moyne Madden students in the room. Network like crazy, guys. The Jesuit community, thanks to Dom Polano and welcome to the Jesuit community. Dermody Burke and Brown, largest independent, locally owned CPA firm in Central New York. Sherrill Manufacturing, the only producer of flatware left in the U.S. Fust Charles Chambers, we already talked about Hank Fust. Furley Moran, Freer, and Asa. The energy industry is their niche with clients all over the country. EY, a big accounting firm and the 3rd largest professional service firm in the world. Oneida Air Systems, a leader in clean air environment space. In the clean air environment space, this company is passionate about producing their products in Central New York and in America. Thank you, Jeff Hill, another thank you to you, for being the lead signatory on the letter of support for our successful REDC grant proposal. You helped Dr. Lemira secure her dream for a quantitative reasoning center, and we are forever grateful. Family Business Center, in a few months, they will celebrate their 4th year housed in the Madden School, and we're proud to say that their membership has grown 50% in those 4 years. Macintosh Box and Pallet, leading wood packaging company. Will, good to see you here tonight. Marquardt, $1 billion plus supplier to the global auto industry, 14 international operations on 4 continents. Although we were sad to see Jochen return to Germany after a 10-year stint in the U.S., we are incredibly pleased that Kirk Wardell has been named the head of Marquardt North America. Raymore and Flanagan, $1.2 billion corporation, the Northeast's #1 furniture retailer and one of the largest furniture retailers in the U.S. Scott Milnemow and team, thank you for being here. Purcell School of Professional Studies, this is one of my favorites. The entire Purcell leadership team is here, and thanks to the Madden School's relationship with Dr. Balu of Mysore, India, 3 physician assistant students with us tonight have recently completed their externship in India. Alex, Renew, Sean, thank you for caring for the most vulnerable in our society. We are very proud of your pioneering spirit and your kind hearts. And then there's Zarina Z, who's at the table as well. OT class of 2017 and an incredible inventor. If there are any investors in the room, I challenge you to go meet this brilliant young woman who has an incredible vision and an incredible product. McNeil & Company, a national leader with over 25 years in the specialized insurance industry. Grossman St. Amour CPAs, locally and nationally recognized as one of the best accounting firms to work for, filled with 8 Lemoyne alumni. We have student dolphin tankers in the room. Where are you? On this Thursday at 4 o'clock, again, investors write this down, in the Gruen Auditorium, 9 students will present, do I have that right? 9 students will present their ideas, their businesses. They're looking for investors. As Nasser said today, even if 3 or 4 of us show up and show them the support and the encouragement, keep dreaming, keep innovating. We also have a table full of club leaders, the club presidents and vice presidents from the Madden School. Keep leading. And finally, the Lemoyne Communications Department, thank you for everything you do for us, and marketing and communications, I should say. I know we're a pain in the neck sometimes, but everything you do for us is first class. Thank you for being here. Now you can applaud. I would now like to introduce my boss to the entire business community of Central New York, Father Joe Marina, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, who is going to offer the invocation.
Good evening, everyone. Jim forgot somebody. I give thanks every day for Jim Joseph. I can't tell you what a privilege it is to work with him. I keep two lists by my night table. One, people who I give thanks for every day, and the other, people who really need my prayers. And Jim goes back and forth on each list. But Jim, thank you, and thank you to the students, faculty, and staff of the Madden School of Business. Let us pray. God of wisdom and love, we give you thanks for bringing us together this night, that we might come to find you in the midst of celebration. We gather in memory of Frank Fernandez, whose love of teaching and commitment to ethics and excellence have helped to advance the mission of Moyne in various marvelous ways. We gather to honor Joe Savage, a wonderful role model for our students, for his great generosity and his support. As Business Leader of the Year, may he continue to inspire all of us here on the Heights. We thank you for Michael Madden, for all of our benefactors and business leaders, our students, faculty, staff, and alumni, all of whom form the community of the Madden School of Business at Moyne College. On their behalf, we ask you to bless our food and fellowship and those who have prepared it, to keep watch over all who go without food this night, to especially bless the Fernandez, Savage, Purcell, and Collins families, and to give us the grace we need to glorify you in all we do. May the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit descend upon you and remain with you forever.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I want to draw your attention to the back of the room as the wait staff and the entire staff start lining up. Drew D'Angelo, executive chef, the guy with a chef hat on. Sue Wetzel, where are you? Where's Sue? Jim Siriano, class of '94, Moyne Dolphins, Sodexo General Manager, where are you? Bree O'Neill. And the entire staff, you guys did a tremendous job. A delicious meal, served on time, outstanding. Thank you very much. And now, Kasha, Katie, Tracy, Carol, Dale, Janine, you're all at this table right here. Could you guys stand up, please? And where's Casey? Where's Casey? Casey? She's back there. This is the easy part, what I do. You guys did all the hard work. You put out, this is an incredible event, and it's all thanks to you. Okay, Joe, are you ready to receive your big award?
Sure, thanks a lot.
Your big award is I just signed a 10-year deal with Moyne. How's that? What's so funny? We thought it would be fitting, calm down. We thought it would be fitting if the first recipient, Mike Madden, read the citation for the 2017 recipient. So I want to invite Mike Madden, Dr. Linda Lemira, and Joe Savage to the stage. Let's go, guys. Let's do this. So this is the way this is going to work.
Excuse me.
This is the way this is supposed to work. Mike's going to read the citation. Joe is going to offer 2 or 3 minutes of remarks.
Took all my time.
So, are you ready to read the citation?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say.
Oh, well, I knew that too. So I'm going to sit down now.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great time. I asked how many people were here, and I think Jim underestimated. I heard 360 from Phil earlier. I got, what?
Phil exaggerates.
And you don't. Anyway, as Jim said, I was very, very proud to get the first award in 1987. And I looked at this thing in 1987, I said, wow, that's 30 years ago. And I realized there's 50 students out there, Moyne students, who weren't even born yet. and they're probably looking up, oh, let's get a look at this cat who got the award 30 years ago. Is he still alive? You know, was he in World War II? Can he still move around by himself, or does he need, Lynn to help him? I don't know. I don't know. And nowadays, as opposed to those days, it's a big deal, and rightly so. I mean, we've got citations, which I'm going to read in a moment, for great people, great man here, Joe Savage. And in my day, I remember how we got here. It was Wally Elmer, God bless him, my partner, and my original, I'll call it mentor when it came to talking about developing our business program, came to me one day and he said, look, Mike, Frank Fernandez has just retired, and he's a great man. I said, I know that, Wally, and I just went on the board that year. And he said, we'd like to start something in his name. And I said, what? He said, well, we'd like to start an awards dinner in his name. And I said, well, that's great, and we'd like you, Mike, to be the first recipient. And I said, gee, really? Okay, fine. I was young then, by the way. And so we said, all right, what are we going to do? So we carved out a little corner in the Rathskeller, and as opposed to 330 people, today there were 13. Frank, God bless him. Wally, God bless him. Me, of course. Norb Henry, and 9 other guys. And we had a couple of beers and toasted, and we said, all right, that's it, good to go, enjoy yourself. So about 10 years later, I said, Wally, I've watched all these great people get up there and have the award after me, and I'm really exuberant about how great this event has become. But by the way, they're getting these plaques. I never got a plaque. No plaque, no nothing. No, nothing. I got, hey, Mike, good to go.
Remember, you give, you don't receive.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. That was a good lesson I learned right there. No, I've gotten a lot. But so, it's really terrific to look at the thread of our Moyne community. When I come into these things, the thing that makes me really, really appreciate being a part of this community is the relationships we all have. When I walked in the door right away this evening, I had the honor to meet a fellow right at the door. He's just standing there by himself, Dan McNeil, class of 1951. And I talked to him, and And hello, Dan. There he is. Now, I've never met Dan McNeil before, but I met him tonight, and he and I are going to be lifelong friends from this moment forward. No, but the continuity of him being here 20 years before I was, and the people who are here 20 and 30 and 40 years after I was, and to see the love of the community and the embracing of each and every member that we have here this evening is really a terrific experience for me. So I think that as we look forward to tonight's recipient, I got to tell you, there could be no better recipient to get the 31st award than Mr. Joe Savage. And I'm going to read his I have this thing here tonight. Jim gave me this really great thing. Oh.
Much bigger font. Let's go right there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for preparing me so well, Dean Joseph. I'm going to read it from my original thing that you gave me, by the way. As we look forward to tonight, by any measure, Joseph M. Savage, class of 1984, is an extraordinary businessman, having risen through the ranks of several prestigious companies. Yet the people closest to him, Mom, the people closest to him, his family, friends, colleagues, know that this is not the most remarkable thing about him. In fact, far from it. The most extraordinary thing about Joe, they will tell you, is that he is an even greater human being. Dedicated not only to his profession, but also to his community, his alma mater, and all of the people he loves. Us tonight. Joe is the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of Victaulic Company, the world's leading producer of mechanical pipe joining systems. Joe began work for the company as a Vice President of Finance in 2006. Before he was promoted to his current job, which is the Vice President of Finance. Victaulic has more than 1,800 global patents. It develops products for a full range of industrial, commercial, and institutional applications. He's played a critical role in the growth and success of this truly international organization, which includes, by the way, 15 manufacturing facilities around the world and 28 branches, supported by 3,600 employees. Speaking, Jim, for you, 43 languages. Prior to joining Victaulic, Joe spent 13 years at United Technologies Carrier Corporation, where he held numerous executive positions, including Vice President of Finance for the North American Commercial Business Unit. An accounting major on the Heights, Joe began his career at Ernst & Young, where he rose to the level of audit manager. And in each of these roles, and throughout his career, Joe's exemplified what it means to be an ethical, reflective, and compassionate leader. Dedicated not just to the bottom line, but also to the world at large. That care and concern for others extends beyond Joe's professional life. He's also deeply committed to his community, having lent his time, talent, and energy to the philanthropic organizations closest to his heart, including Toys for Tots, United Way, and the American Cancer Society. He's also served as chairman for the Saucon Valley Foundation for Education Innovation, which was established to fund unique educational opportunities for children. Central to his work on those causes and others is Joe's belief in the Ignatian ideal of service and sacrifice on behalf of others. Joe, as we've heard, is equally dedicated to his alma mater. He's given back to the college as a member of the Madden School of Business Advisory Board. Also, he's been on the Board of Regents and served on the Finance Committee of the Board of Regents. And he was also instrumental in planning their 2004 reunion. In 2016, he delivered the Madden Lecture called Making the Case for Principled Leadership, along with his former teammates, Jim Grabowski, and class of 82, and our illustrious dean, class of 83. It'd be fair to say that the green and gold flows through Joe's veins. His father, Donald, was a member of the college's inaugural class of 1951. And his mother, Jacqueline, maiden name McGill, was a member of the class of 52. Together, they molded what it means to be humble, compassionate, and hardworking. Lessons Joe and his wife, Suzanne, have instilled in their own children, Daniel, Megan, Matthew, and Emma. It was in their honor that Joe generously established the Donald J. Savage and Family Center for Reflective Leadership in the Madden School of Business. With tremendous gratitude and continuity for the family, for his service to his professional and his community and his alma mater, Moyne College is proud to name Joseph M. Savage, class of 1984, as the Frank Fernandez Business Leader of the Year.
Get us from there? You need a wide-angle lens?
For me.
Thank you.
I want you right there for a minute.
This is your award.
But I got permission from a lot of your friends out front to say a few things about you. So, Jimmy Joe, as my mom would like to say. I think many people are familiar with the Savage athletic prowess and history at Moyne College. My dad and some of my cousins were phenomenal athletes here. And the reality of the matter is that not all the athletic talent made it my way. But that's okay. That's okay. I think it skipped a generation because there are a bunch of great athletes sitting down here and over there and over here. But I always thought I was a good teammate to Jim. Right? I always thought that. And, Jimmy would be out in the court, and he'd be playing, and he'd get a lot of playing time, and I'd be out there watching him. He'd be sweating, and he'd be tired, and he'd come off the court. And like a good teammate, right, I would walk up, and I'd hand him a water bottle, right, and a towel, and say, good job, pat him on the, and send him back out there again. So what I'd like to do is just pretend for a couple minutes that I'm on the court. And I'm playing. So,
Would you like me to give you this water bottle?
no, I got a water bottle, and somewhere else in here, Russell, I got a towel. So, you know, if I'm up here working hard,
Oh, I see.
and I need a break, I'm gonna reach out to you. And say,
Can I sit down now?
well, you can sit down, but if I go like this, you know what I mean. God, that was fun. Thank you all for the recognition. As I said to Jimmy, the candidate pool must have been a little shallow this year. And somehow I rose to the top. I'm not sure how I got there or who put me up for this thing, but I can't tell you. It means a lot. There's an amazing list of past honorees, people who've built companies and accounting firms and a whole lot of things. A couple of my father's classmates, or the class of '51, have received this honor. It's amazing. And I got a wonderful call one day, and it was from Jim. I looked at my phone, and Jim calls. Well, I got to answer the phone. Jim calls. And all he says is, you got to do me a favor. You got to say May 2nd on your calendar. Well, if Jim calls, I'm going to say May 2nd on my calendar. Forget else, what else is going on. And so I dutifully saved the date. And then it was later that week, and I got a wonderful call, an unbelievable call from Linda, and who told me about this great news and this great honor. And I was humbled. It was wonderful. And Linda, I called Mom right away, like I told you I would. So, you know, thank you. But there's a bunch of thank yous I have to pass on. There's always a team behind you. And so I'm going to go through a few of those. The first is the Fernandez family. I want to thank you, Dulce and Rodney, granddaughter Alexandria. I'm sure your grandfather's favorite. And I love this. Late entrance nephew. I thought that's beautiful. You know, first and foremost, you know, Frank was a great man. He was a great father, great husband, great grandfather, you know. But on top of that, he was a great mentor to many people at Lemoyne, you know. And I have my own Frank Fernandez story. My career at Lemoyne didn't start off great, right? I was a little slow on the academic thing, and I kind of waltzed out my freshman year on academic and disciplinary probation. My good friend Tim Kelly is sitting over here in the audience. He can vouch for this. I guess I should have invited Father Jim O'Brien, who lived right next to me on 3rd floor Nelligan, to the party in the middle of exam week, our first semester. Well, for some odd reason, I lost the invitation, and he didn't get the party, but he did show up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, turn down the stereo. But thank God your father and your grandfather was kind enough to let me into the school. You know, I went and I talked to him, and he said, you know, Joe, don't worry about that freshman year. And it started off, you know, a great career, and he's quite the legacy. So you should be very, very proud of him, as I know you are. So thank for him. Mike, you know, unbelievable. The foresight that you had to commit to the college to build a business school is remarkable, and I'm just trying to follow on your coattails and continue to perpetuate what you started. There is no doubt in my mind that Moyne College's business school will pass everybody else in time. I was at a board meeting today and heard a bunch of great things that are going on at this school. And I think the quality of the people and the commitment, we're going to pass all the big names. It's going to happen, right? We're going to take our time and we're going to do the right things, but that's going to happen. We're going to pass all the big brand names. I promise you that. Of course, the 14th president of Moyne College, Linda. I'm glad the Board of Trustees had the wisdom to hire, hands down, the best person for the job. The best person for the job. And we're all fortunate to have you at the helm, and we look forward to many, many, many years with you there. To my mom and dad, and Mike kind of summed it up, Nana and Pops, and my mom's down here in the front. They did it right almost every day of the week. And they were great role models. So it was relatively easy for me to follow on. They deserve a lot of credit. To my extended family and friends that are here tonight, thank you for being here. It means a ton for you all to come up and be part of this big evening. My immediate family, to my children, and Emma, I'm going to go in reverse order and start with you. You're always on the left, but Emma, Matthew, Maggie, her husband Aaron, and Danny. Thank you for being here. My spirited daughter-in-law, Megan, Danny's wife, could not make it tonight. She's going to be giving birth in a couple months, and so she couldn't really travel. And so we miss her, and hopefully I'll grab that video and send that to her. And then Matthew's fiancee, Kendra, who's shortly going to become a part of our immediate family in short order. She's probably working this evening at the hospital. You're great kids. You're great kids. And you've been very, very patient, listening to me and all my personal philosophies. And I just want to let you know I love you, and I'm just trying to play my role. And most importantly, my wife and my girlfriend. I got that in there, Jane. The last 24 years have been magical. You're the perfect wife, a wonderful mother. You're a great friend to all. It just simply works having you at my side. I'd be lost without you, and I love you more. I talked to Jim about, framing my comments for tonight. And Jimmy knows me pretty well, and a lot of people in the room know me pretty well. I don't like talking about myself. But I let my guard down, and you got me. So I'll talk a little bit about myself tonight. I think it's most important in the words that I'm going to speak is just to recognize Moyne for what I believe is just not the benefits of a Jesuit education, but being part of a broader Jesuit institution and community. I'm very, very fortunate. I have a generational connection to the school. The Savage family relationship started as part of the first graduating class almost 60 years ago. And when Dad walked on this campus, and it continues today with my relationship with Moyne and what I'm trying to and how I'm trying to help. And that's pretty powerful stuff. So with all that history, and when I was thinking about how I could talk about what Moyne has meant to me, I think I wanted to focus on my journey with the Donald J. Savage and Family Center for Reflective Leadership. So if you allow me a few minutes to talk about that. I'll start with my insights and how we got here, okay, which I thought it was quite remarkable. When my father passed in 2010, I wanted to do something to remember him by. And Moyne was such a big part of my mom and dad's life. And so at his memorial service at the Panacci Chapel, I announced that I wanted to start a scholarship in my dad's name. I thought it was what he wanted. To help someone have an opportunity to experience Moyne, quite simply. And with the hope that it would have the same lifelong impact that it had on my mom and dad and what it's having with me. And slowly but surely, I was building up that scholarship fund. But then I remember on one cold night, I stumbled on a YouTube video. And my esteemed dean of the Madden Business School was on this YouTube video. He had a mic in his hand, and he had a bunch of people in front of him, and he was talking to them. Imagine that, a mic in your hand, a bunch of people looking at you, and you're talking nonstop. No, I'm good, thanks. But he was presenting at a Madden networking event, and this was back in February of 2014. And I was sitting there listening to it, and I hadn't talked to Jimmy in a long time. But he laid out a 4-point plan to make the Madden School of Business the top business school in the country. And I played it like 5 times that night. Suzanne was mad at me. And in broadly speaking, he put together some pieces that said, we want cutting-edge technology in this school. And if you ever have a chance, go up to the business school and you walk through there, and there's some cutting-edge technology, and it's getting better and better. There was this concept of fusing the academic world with the business community, which I thought that was a great idea. Advisory boards. A Madden mentor for every single student. And an internship program. Not just one, but 2 internships during a student's life at Moyne. He talked about 3 centers of excellence. This thing called the Center for Reflective Leadership and Business Ethics, which I thought sounded enticing. He talked about, at the time, one of the schools, the Keenan Center for Entrepreneurship, and that certainly rang a bell with me of something that could put this business school in a great place. And then he talked about a Center for Global Engagement and Impact, which this fall has just been named for one of my classmates from 1984, Paul Hederich, and with his generous donation. And then lastly, he talked about partnerships with local universities. And there's a lot of great local universities around here. The only problem was we weren't partners, and how simple could that be? I thought it was simple. I thought it was clear. I thought it was on point. I was amazed and proud. And between everybody in the room, and let's not tell Jim this, I was pretty impressed with what Jimmy was saying. But boy, did it give me great fodder to reach out to my friend Jim and say, I don't ever remember you sounding so smart. or something like that. I think I did it through LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. But it intrigued me. And in the fall, I invited Jimmy and Phil George to come down to Victaulic. And Jimmy said to me, he says, I think I have a better way to remember your father in a way that could have a bigger impact on more students than your scholarship. And boy, was he right. Jimmy laid out the center of reflective leadership for me. You know, 3 main elements. The global Jesuit case series, right? Can you imagine 200 Jesuit colleges around the world and a 500-year-old education institution coming together to try to teach our young people the right way to do things? The concept of developing and sharing case studies across the globe, social justice, human dignity, moral leadership, balancing sustainability with innovation and profitability. And I think maybe some of you are unaware about case studies and business case studies, but Harvard has 75, 80, 90% of the market in case studies. And I've read a few. I've gone to a few executive education programs. They're good, but quite frankly, they're not good enough. And all I can say to Harvard right now is watch out, because we have an armada of 200 schools and colleges and universities with a 500 years of history of education, and we're coming for you. And I think we're going to be able to do something about it.
You're here. Woo!
And then Jim talked to me about the Arupe program in social ethics from business. It just happened to be transferred to Moyne from some little small school, Jesuit school called Georgetown University down on the Beltway. They wanted to bring it to Moyne. A collaboration between theologians and business leaders and the practical application of ethics in a business world. In my words, just doing the right thing, you know? And then the Madden Lecture Series, you know, bringing business professionals to campus, discuss issues shaping business with an emphasis on Jesuit tradition and values. I know some of my best educational experiences at Moyne were through the adjunct professors that taught me. They were working during the day, running their firms, running their practices, and I believe it's critical to bring that business influence into the classroom and on campus. And I think I've got 2 of my teachers here tonight, Dan Arno and Bob Cower, are out there somewhere. So Jimmy told me about this great thing, and I stepped back and I said, you know, boy, this thing resonates with me. This is great. And why did it resonate? Well, first and foremost, the comments reflective leadership stuck in my head. And one of the best career advices I ever had from a guy that's sitting in the audience tonight, who's been my supervisor for almost half my professional career, in 2009, and I was asking him, well, what can I do to help the business to be a better professional? And he says, you got to do a better job reflective thinking. And you got to make sure you understand the impacts of your decisions and actions, just not today, tomorrow, but you know, down the road. And I never forgot that advice. And I try to exercise it every day in all aspects of my life, not just my business career, but my personal life. And well, the jury's still out. We'll see what happens down the road. Secondly, I got some sage advice from the same guy that says one of the keys to success is to take on things that are bigger than yourself. And I thought about the Madden Business School and what they were trying to accomplish, and this is certainly bigger than the self. You know, working with 200 global institutions, 500 years of collaboration, of education, collaborating to provide the right type of education to our young people, made sense. And then thirdly, you know, was what Jimmy said to me, was it consistent with the values instilled by my parents? what my alma mater reinforced, and what I truly believe is the right way to do things. And I went check, 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 check. There's a professor here at Moyne that just retired. His name's Dan Orn. Some say he was the start, one of the initial founders of the global Jesuit case series. He's got a YouTube too, and I watch it frequently. And I think his words sum it up well. He says that caught up in turbulence of daily events, leaders often lack the time and tools needed to reflect deeply on their challenges and choices, to understand how their choices relate to a life lived well and fully. And I honestly believe that everybody in this room and out there has an obligation to prepare the next generation of leaders in an often very, very complex world. And it's just not about moral decision making. We hope we get that right. But those leaders have to build successful organizations dealing with a myriad of issues governing people. They have to have discipline required to develop products that really matter to their customers, that really make a difference. And they have to have intellectual curiosity and perseverance to strive for perfection, or magis, as us Jesuits like to call it. And I believe that the concept of the center and what the Madden Business School was trying to do would meet all those objectives. So after due reflection, I decided to weigh in and get behind the center. And economics are needed to get behind good deeds. And quite frankly, I would not be in a position to do this without the help of recognizing some very special people who probably should have been part of my thank yous up front. And that's the owners of Victaulic, the hard work and dedication of our 4,000 employees around the world who make the Victaulic the leader in what we do, and most notably, the management team, and a few of them are here tonight. John Malloy, our chairman and CEO, Gary Moore, our executive vice president of sales, Mark Vandervoorty, our chief legal and administration officer. We have a great team of people. We challenge each other, we strive for excellence, and we're trying to perpetuate the success of the company over the long run. And it's only with that commitment to perfection and the success that I'm truly able to make this commitment to Moyne, and they deserve a lot of the credit. Mike, thank you for those recognition points, that you read. I promise you, there was a lot of other people that weren't mentioned that were helping along the way on every one of those initiatives. We are all contributing on equal footing, giving back to communities we live in, to those not as fortunate, whether it's simply sharing our individual talents or time, is our tradition here at Moyne. As I tell my children, just pay it forward. Doesn't make a difference how big or small. Just pay it forward. Through the years of my travels, I've met many, many people, regardless of race, color, creed, religion. There's many, many people out there that are trying to do the right thing. They're out there. And my challenge to the Madden School and Tracy and all the people involved with the Center of Reflective Leadership is go find them and tell their stories. They're impactful, they're meaningful, and they will help create the leaders that we need in this world. And my last comment is, let us not forget, we're all here for but one reason: the greater glory of God. So thank you, and good evening.
You know, he still didn't speak about himself. That was a good bait and switch. I'm going to talk about myself. I let my guard down, and then you talk about everybody else, but that's Joe Savage. Linda, do you want to come up and give some closing remarks to this incredible evening? What do you say? President Lemira.
Thank you, Jimmy Joe. It's such a privilege to be here with all of you this evening. This has been an extraordinary evening, very poignant, a lot of fun, very spirited, all quintessential Moyne College. As you all know, Frank Fernandez was an ardent supporter of Moyne College. And he inspired not simply excellence in his students, but a feeling of connection. The kind of connection we all feel here together this evening. Students left his classes feeling as if they were a part of something big, a grand design for the future, and something small, something more intimate, and that is a part of the Moyne family. Our honorees at this event have embodied the greatness and humanity of Frank Fernandez. As you heard, 4 years ago, we honored John Purcell at this dinner. And in 1987, we honored Mike Madden. Both of these men have carved more than their names into the fabric of this wonderful Jesuit gem. Their energy and their vision is evidenced on this campus every single day. And I say that with immense joy and pride. Both Mike and John have supported Moyne students who have worked incredibly hard to get here at Moyne and who take advantage of every single opportunity we present to them. They're students who aspire to lives and careers that reflect our Jesuit mission. Mike, I have to say, when I heard that you were going to come and you sent me a text, I was so happy because it gives me another opportunity to thank you, not just for your extraordinary generosity that we know about, but I'm always so inspired by your love for your alma mater, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. I also appreciate that you understand and value the enduring value of a Jesuit education. This evening, we continue this tradition of honoring individuals who inspire us. Joe, you epitomize the crossroads we celebrate on our campus. Greatness meets goodness. The decisions you've made in your business demonstrate the quintessential Jesuit principles of integrity, of ethics, and care for all people. Students in the room, are you listening? And what a tribute to the values you learned, not just here at Moyne, but at home with your mother, Jackie, whom I adore, your father, Donald, our one and only NBA player. Go Syracuse Gnats. That's right, Gnats. We're thrilled that you've asked us to name the Center for Reflective Leadership after your father and your family. The Donald J. Savage and Family Center for Reflective Leadership will guide students toward the smart, emphasis on the word smart, and nuanced leadership so needed in the world today. It will house, as you heard, the Global Jesuit Case Series, and as a result of your generosity, Joe and family, less renowned schools like Yale, Stanford, and even Harvard will turn to us for guidance and example. I derive sinful pleasure from saying that to all of you. To Joe's family, especially his wife, Suzanne, his 4 children, Danny, Maggie, Matthew, and Emma, Uncle Jim, and his mom, Jackie. We take tremendous pride in honoring your husband, your father, your nephew, your son. Thank you all so much for your extraordinary generosity and love for Moyne College. God bless you.
I would now like to invite Father Don Kirby, Society of Jesus, to give the benediction. And no jokes like Joe did about me, okay?
Before we pray for this, for the end of this beautiful evening, I'd just like to reflect on this jacket. What a presence this jacket symbolizes for us. You look at this jacket and you think of Frank, looks sort of like a simple guy, but you knew he was extremely complex. And from that one individual came this, for all of the years that we've been talking about. One individual. And I think the meaning of this evening tonight, and why this is such a meaningful dinner all the time, is Frank Fernandez believed in students. And I think when Frank was here, one of the things he felt, Moyne is here because students come here. That's the only reason we're here. There is no other reason. And I think Joe Savage, tonight, he's one example. Mike is another example. You are all, many of you, examples. Frank thought, if I can just tap into that, to the gift that God gave that particular student. And that's what we celebrate tonight, and that's what we give thanks for. And we thank the family especially for being so wonderful to Frank for all of those years. So as we pray tonight, let us pray especially for the students, because they are the future. So eternal God, we thank you for the gift of this evening. For through our conversations and our breaking bread together, we have caught a glimpse of your presence, and this brings us hope and it brings us joy. We ask you to bless our guests, especially Joe and Suzanne Savage and their families. We ask you to bless the Fernandez family, and as we are surrounded by the memories of all of our colleagues that have made this evening possible through the years, we pray that you remain with us as we navigate the profound realities that now challenge us. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus the Lord. Amen. God bless all of you.
Thank you all for coming. This has been an incredible evening. Joe, you're the best. Good night, everybody.